Okay. Hi, Lori. I see you joined us. We're live. We're going to get started. Uh, Welcome to 12.3's Z School. We want to do we really want to build a library of YouTube videos. We've done this in the past and people find them very useful. Last time we did it was 2020, I believe, during COVID. And so they need updating. Your hosts today are Jeff and Cameron. You won't see much of us. We're just going to do screen shares. Over the course of this entire series, what we want to do is build a complete Zoho One system, touching on as many apps as we can do. There's about 60 apps in the Zoho One system now. We've been partners for Zoho for 12 years. There's 5 people in the company. We've done hundreds of Zoho One implementations. We find Zoho One to be a very, very good value and kind of the most common way people use Zoho. So we chose Zoho One. You can set up these apps individually, and when we get to the individual apps later on in the course, we'll talk about how to set those up individually. But I wanted to start with Zoho One. Next week, we're going to talk about what's in Zoho One. We're not even going to talk about what's in it. Can't really show you anything till we set one up. And so today is about setting up a Zoho One system. You don't have to buy Zoho One to set one up. Zoho offers a free 30-day trial of all their apps in Zoho One. I'll show you how to set that up. We're not going to do the trial. We set up a little demo system that Zoho gives us. So our setup's a little bit different. And so I will share my screen now. You'll get a quick picture of a cute baby. And I have a shortcut here. Am I sharing the right screen? Do this again. There we go. Give me one moment. Here we go. Have to be not me. I'm using Chrome as a browser. Zoho supports all the major browsers. Zoho even makes their own browser called Ula. Very secure. One of the things you're going to hear a repeating theme in this class is that Zoho makes an app. They call themselves the operating system for business. Every class of software you're used to using, whether it's a spreadsheet or an email or a website builder or a word processor or a password keeper or a browser, they make their own version of it. That's why we want to hope to expose you to all of it. And I'm going to use Chrome though, because we find most people use Chrome. So I have a separate session of Chrome set up here. To get to Zoho One, the URL is one.zoho.com. I'm going to explain that a little bit. Zoho runs data centers around the world. If you're in the USA, you want to use .com. They have data centers in Washington State and Texas. They run multiple data centers around the world. If you're in Europe, you would use .eu. If you're in Australia, AU, India, IN, and so forth. We're going to assume everybody is going to go to .com. If you don't have a Zoho One account, it will take you to a page. Let me do that. I'm gonna set up an incognito mode here real quick. I'll go to one.zoho.com. What just happened was Zoho already knows who I am, and I don't have to sign in. But here I am in incognito mode. It takes you to the Zoho One homepage. If I had a Zoho account, I could sign in right here. But it thinks I'm a stranger because I'm in incognito mode. And so here's where I can activate a free trial. So you can build your system by doing this. And it's free for 30 days. And they'll give you a little help setting it up. You do have to use an email that you can have access to. In other words, you can't set up a system under a fictitious email, because you can't sign someone up against their will. I can't put, Bill Gates at Microsoft.com or something. It's going to send him an email saying, do you want to activate this system? So use an email that you can get. You'll get an invitation to activate it. You click on the link, and now the system's live. They're going to ask you about 10 questions like, where are you? They'll ask for an address, because when you do buy, they got to figure out sales taxes. And they'll ask you a couple of basic setup questions, and then you'll be where I'm about to go. Because I've already done this part, this session here took me right to my Zoho One homepage. And this is where you tell the system some basic things about what you want. Now, there's a lot of stuff in here, and what I want to do today is go through the important parts of this. There's a lot of stuff you can skip, but there's some other things you should pay attention to. For instance, by default, this system that they set up will be based on Pacific time. It's just the way Zoho works. I think they might have more customers on the West than the East, but so I'll show you how to fix that. So they're going to ask you a basic question here, like, are you mostly interested in sales? And if you click on that, they give you about 10 sales related apps. CRM is one of them. When we build this system out, we're going to start with CRM because almost everybody uses the CRM product. But there is like a whole finance suite: inventory, accounting, subscription management, expense tracking. There is project management tools. So if you're not a salesperson and you're interested in the finance stuff, you would click this, and they would they'll ask you a few questions about your corporate setup, and we'll cover all that stuff later on. For now, I'm going to skip. We're going to set up an empty system. Again, I'm going to skip all this, but these are spaces. I can have a personal space with all these different apps. By the way, this is a brand new feature that even those of you who have Zoho One might not have seen yet. They're starting to ask customers to switch over to it. It's called Spaces. We'll go over that maybe later. I think it's more visual than anything. They're asking a place where you can ask for features here. I'm logged in as a username user1 on a demo account. And the place you probably want to go to they have a little startup wizard here. The thing you want to use Zoho One mostly for is to turn on applications and add your users, your coworkers. And this is where you can give your users the rights they need to the applications they need. In other words, if you have an accounting app, you may have some people in the company who should not be in that app, so you wouldn't give them the accounting app, but you would give the people in accounting that app. If you have a email app, Zoho Campaigns is where you do your email blasts. You could have your marketing people give access to that. Even within your accounting group, some people might not have check writing authority. So you have different levels of users. And so you control all that in one place. In other words, I can add a new employee. I can give them 30 of the 60 apps, and I can set up his rights. If that employee leaves, I just deactivate them. I don't have to go into each app and add them to each app. I don't have to remove them from each application. I can set them up here, turn them off with a click, change their password, set up their security profiles. And so the Zoho One setup wizard is really for the administrator. Other people will just go in and they'll log in and go to Zoho One. They will see much less of this. They will just see the apps they've been given, and they'll have their rights assigned to them. So the two main things you do is add your apps and assign your users. I'm going to blow the screen up a little bit so you can see it better. Excuse me. I just want to say that you can comment. There's a chat area in this meeting. If you have any questions, if you can't see, if I'm talking too fast, sorry I'm croaking at you a little bit, getting over a little bit of a illness. I am talking fast because we're recording this. Generally, people can slow them down, speed them up, and we are going to have time for questions afterwards. But I want to make sure that this is visible, so I'm going to just blow this up a little bit. So the Zoho One setup is wizard. You add your apps, you assign the apps to users. You can assign admins. There's a product tour. Every Zoho app, maybe not everyone, but I think everyone, there's a free mobile version. So you can put it on your phone. You can also run Zoho out of a tablet. And then there's a help section down here. So I'm going to not use the setup wizard here. I'm more used to using something called the directory, which in Spaces is here. Now this will take you to a screen that if you're not running the Spaces, you know what, maybe I can take Spaces off. I guess I can't. So the directory again is this little thing here in the Spaces app. And this is a dashboard. I won't spend too much time in this, but it shows me my users, my location. Believe it or not, one of our guys is in Argentina right now, and he set this up. And so it's showing me where people have been signing in from. Zoho does have a really, really good, sometimes almost bothersome security model. They're going to recommend you use multi-factor, but they can tell you where people are logging in from. You can even prevent, say, sign-ins from overseas. If you see, you know, someone from Korea has logged into your system, you can geofence that. You can also bounce them. So there's a lot of security. It's telling me at the moment I have 4 apps. Those are called what I call the org apps. They're common. Everybody gets them. We'll talk about them. Currently have 1 user defined, which is me. User 1 is my name. And I'm just going to kind of go down through this, the basic parts that I want to cover in the next 10 minutes. The organization these are the questions that they will have asked you. And I did not, I was able to skip those because it's a demo system, but I'm gonna call our company name 123Z School. They'll ask you some stuff like a portal URL. You can put, you'll actually own this little URL. It's part of Zoho, but you have a sub here. They do have required fields. So I'm going to put us in New York. It's a made-up address, but they want to know this also for sales tax purposes. So you got to be truthful with it. And one of the important things is time zone, as I mentioned earlier. You're going to want to put, and if you're in the Eastern time zone, just put in the word new, and there's a Eastern Standard Time. It will handle all the daylight savings time shifts. Each user can be in a different time zone. When we set up users, they can be, if you have a guy on the West Coast, someone in Canada, that's fine. They can use Zoho in their time. The same with language. There's English and there's all kinds of, Bahama English. Is there US English? Yes, United States English. But if you have a user who speaks Spanish, he'll use Zoho in Spanish. It won't like rename the word street if I put in an address. It won't name the word street to calle or strata. But all the field labels will be in Spanish. All the help will be in Spanish. So it's good that you set these up. You can put in a phone and a mobile and a fax and a website. I'm going to skip that. So it's kind of important you do that. Again, this is the new Spaces tour they're offering me. I'm going to skip this. Took me back here anyway. Go back to the directory. So our organization got added, 123Z School. You can have multiple work locations. I'll leave these other things off for now. So under applications, these are the Zoho apps that you would add to the system. I'm only going to add one today, CRM, because we're going to start there. I can break them down into sections, but these are all the apps. They gave us some basic apps that I'm going to skip right now. There's a task manager, there's a calendar. I use the calendar, I like it a lot. But we're just going to add an application. And Zoho apps, there are 47 that we can add. I don't know why they're not alphabetized. Sorry, this isn't the new interface they came up with, but come down. Apps that can be added will be, here. If they've already been added, you can't add them a second time, but I'm going to add CRM. I can start assigning my other users, but I haven't added any users yet, so I'm just going to say okay. But now I have 5 applications here. The owner of the application is user 1. Again, in a larger company, the salesperson might be in charge of CRM, but the accounting manager might be in charge of the finance apps. You can have different owners. So I've just added an app. Now I'm going to add a user. We have one user right now who has one app assigned to him, or him, her. I'm going to add a user. Just going to call him user 2, but we can give him a name. Cam, what name do we want to give him?
Let's go with Alfred.
Alfred Smith. I'm gonna make his email be user 2 though, just because I think the demo system they give us. This is where the email inviting him to the system is going to be sent. And this is his temporary password. And he will be allowed, once he signs himself in, he'll be allowed to set his own password. So you really won't know anyone's passwords. You can always reset it, but most users are in charge of their own passwords. And then again down here, they can have an employee ID. It's not too important, but you could use their employee number. Zoho has a whole host of HR, time and attendance, payroll apps, and so the employee ID becomes a little more important there. Designation is a title, so we'll just say sales manager. Oh, can't do that yet. I don't have any departments. You can have who they're reporting to. So I will say he reports to user 1. Again, it's not that important. You can put in the work location. We haven't set those up yet, but he could be in our Florida office. The locale information is important, which is why I wanted to bring this up. He'll inherit the company time zone and the company language, but if they do speak Spanish, this is where you would set that. And if they are in Texas, you could change their time zone for them. There is additional information which we haven't set up, but we can have things like birthday, day of joining. We could add custom fields in here. Maybe we want to know their blood type or something for HR purposes. And finally, you send a notification mail. So what happens is I add this user, he'll get an email sent to this address, and their status will be invited. Again, they must accept the invite. They click on a link, they'll change their password, and let me just close this for a minute. So user 1 is me. User 2 here is Alfred. He has no apps and he is not joined yet. The invitation link lasts for 7 days, in which case it expires, but you can resend. Just tell your users to look in their junk mail sometimes. It all depends on your email policies of whatever email system you're using. Sometimes these invites wind up in junk. They'll say they never got it, but you can tell if they've joined or not. I'm going to click on Alfred now, and it shows me here what applications have been assigned to him. None. So I'm going to hit the plus, and the only app we have is CRM. I'll go into this in much more detail later when we talk about CRM. You can have different profiles, like a profile is how much power they have. Right now we have 2, a standard user and an administrator. I'll make him standard. You could have an intern profile, which maybe can't delete a lot of records, things like that. A role is a little bit different. It tells us what they can see. So you might have a sales manager sees everything, East Coast manager sees only data from the East Coast, and a West Coast manager, and then maybe under the manager you have a territory or so again, you can build this out. A CEO sees everything, and it's okay to make user 2 a CEO. It just means you're sharing all data with them. Most people do that. Larger companies don't. They don't think the Florida salespeople need to see the California data. But you can do that once you get into CRM. So when he logs in and accepts his invitation, he now has one app that he can work with. I could make him an admin of this particular app, or of the whole system. If you want to have more than one admin in Zoho 1, sometimes it's a good idea, just in case that person's not available or is no longer there. You can have more than one admin. You can also have a service admin. Like right now, user 1 is an admin of CRM, but I'm willing to make another person an admin of just this app. Not the whole system, but just this app. I'm going to leave some of these other things off because, again, I want to talk about the important stuff. Security is an area. You can have security policies, like you can make them change their password every so often. You can turn on or turn off multi-factor authentication. Zoho will encourage you mightily to use multi-factor. If you work with a partner like us and you want us to log in as you, that can be a little problematic. If we log in, it's going to send a code to your phone. Might be 3 in the morning. You never know when we're going to do your work. You can also make certain people use MFA, but you could exempt other people. So I'll do that real quick just to show you what it looks like. So in the default policy, security policies. I can have groups of users. Again, that's a large person. I'm not going to set this up now because it's going to take too long. We may go into this in detail, especially if you want. There are what are called user groups. Say, we've got some clients with 80 salespeople. And so you just put it, when you hire a new person, you put them in the sales group. All those policies and apps apply to them. But you might have an IT group, slightly different policies apply to them. And so you can have multiple policies here. Let me go back and see if there's anything else I want to show here. If you use say you're in a large company and you use like Microsoft Active Directory, you can actually connect this to that and people can sign in with their Microsoft credentials. Don't actually see a lot of that in our business. Zoho is kind of non-server, it's all cloud. But if you don't want people to have to manage like a separate set of passwords for using their Zoho apps, and then also have a set of passwords for their Microsoft apps. Excuse me. Then you can sorry, as I said, getting over this crud that's hit the whole Northeast. You can set this up here. And finally, there is some reporting here and some anomaly detection. they have these anomalies. They detect brute force attacks if someone's trying to log into your system, trying a new password, if there's weird locations, and then they'll show you here that, people are doing weird things. Right now we have no data, nobody's attacking us. There's some reports in here, sign-in activity into CRM, nothing. Haven't signed in yet. Successful sign-in, so user one here is logged in from Buenos Aires, this IP address. You can see, again, more of the IT management. The important things are set up your organization properly, use the right data center, right language, right time zone, add your users. If you're using the demo system, 30-day trial, the 30-day trial allows you to have 10 users. So you don't have to, at the end of 30 days, if you only buy 3, you'll have to lose the other 7, but you can add 10 people. They can play with it. And then here's where you turn on your admins, or your applications, I'm sorry. So next week, we're going to just look at all the different apps. I don't want to say it's going to be less technical and more salesy. One of the things about Zoho One is you get all these apps. A lot of people buy Zoho One to get CRM, maybe get a couple other apps. Later on, they don't realize that they have, say, 40 more apps that they're paying somebody else for. For instance, we're using Zoho Meeting to hold this webinar, so you can hold webinars. It's very much like Zoom. Zoho has that app. In fact, just for laughs, we'll turn it on. Zoho Meeting. So most companies, I always tell most companies, take a survey of all the software you buy. And you'll be surprised because different departments buy different things. And you'll see that you have a SurveyMonkey this or a MailChimp that, or a DocuSign this. Zoho has all that. And so sometimes it pays to help, use these. So I've added a meeting. I'll come in here, add a user. The only user I can add is Alfred. And I will make him a user, not an admin. Again, you can have different rights within each app. So Alfred now has 2. Will have 2. Okay, went a little long, but there's always a lot in every one of these things. I'm going to stop recording.